Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Stormind and I'm here to ask then answer a very simple question. What is Batora Lost Haven? Batora Lost Haven is an action RPG developed by Stormind Games and published by Team 17. The story itself is about a young female warrior who travels from post-apocalyptic Earth and goes to different planets to collect stuff in order to save Earth, really. And there's more to the story, but we're going to get to that later, because the first thing that we're going to do right now is we're going to take a look at the options menu here. As you can tell, we have some general dialogue settings, and we have the tutorial. I'm going to turn off the tutorial because I don't need to play it again. The tutorial is a little bit slow, as if you pretty much play along with the progression of the game's story. So we'll see how this goes with it turned off, because I actually have not played the game with the tutorial turned off. As for the graphics settings, it's all pretty much standard here, as you can clearly see here. One option that I do like is that you are able to switch to windowed mode, which is something that is nice to have if you only have a one monitor setup. I, on the other hand, have a 2 monitor setup, and it is fairly cheap. Cheaper than a IKEA table with no legs, which is just a slab of wood. I don't know. I'm not good at jokes. Alright, audio options are pretty much the same. Standard, nothing much to say here. The controls available, however, are in both mouse and keyboard and with a Xbox controller or a standard controller. I have found that gameplay feels a little bit more comfortable with a controller, though honestly there's no real difference in my opinion, and we'll get to that later as well. It is available, the game itself is available in about, I'd say, 12 to 13 languages. No, it's not available in 12 to 13 languages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, it is 12 languages. Alright, let's try this again. Mark! Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Selwyn7, and today I'm here to ask then answer a very simple question. What is Batora Lost Haven? Batora Lost Haven is an action RPG developed by Stormind Games and published by Team 17. The story that takes place is that you are a young female warrior who goes around to different planets from post-apocalyptic Earth on a journey to save our home planet from some sort of calamity. Is it climate change? Maybe? I don't know. We'll find out soon enough later on. Not really. But in any case, what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a look at the options menu here. And as you can clearly see here, there is nothing much to say about it right now. It seems fairly standard. You can of course turn off the tutorial, which is a plus for me, because it means I don't have to go through it again if I'm starting the game from scratch, or if I want to make achievements, if I want to do achievements for a game. As far as I can tell, aside from standard Steam achievements, this game doesn't have it. Graphics options are also pretty much standard here. There is nothing much to say here. It's alright. There is a color blindness mode available there, which is good to know. I'm not going to turn it on because I'm not colorblind. Also, the game is available in windowed mode, which is good if you have only a 1 monitor setup. I have a 2 monitor setup. It is cheap. It is cheap and shit because I have no space. But oh, I hit the microphone. But you know what? We're going to move on to audio because that's a segue, and nope. Nothing to change there. The controls available are mouse and keyboard and controller. Personally, I think the controller is a bit more comfortable, though in all honesty, it doesn't make that much difference in terms of how it affects gameplay, and I'll explain that a little bit later on. The game itself is available in 12 languages, and of course you can just turn the subtitles on and off if you want to. Alright, so I've skipped ahead past the intro of the game itself, and what I'll say about gameplay is that it's something that takes a little bit getting used to, and what I mean by that is when it comes to actually performing a combo, or rather chaining combos, it can be a little bit of a chore. And what I mean by that is that instead of, let's say for example, just holding and releasing an attack, you actually have to press the attack button, in this case X, in order to follow through. Now, it has been a while since I've played with the controller, so maybe this is just how things are, but for me it's a little inconvenient, and it provides a distraction from actually fighting the enemies, from fighting mobs, and it's just annoying. It's just a little grating for me as well. As for the mobs themselves, as for the map and the terrain, it's nothing special here. It's pretty much all just a set piece. There's no discernible landmarks, there's nothing here that tells a story about this place. It's a planet that is full of rocks, and that's about it. There's nothing special about it. As for the attacks themselves, it is mildly satisfying with your sword. You're not necessarily just flailing it, which I guess is okay, but there's also, you don't feel any weight behind the moves, and because combos have to constantly be chained with each button press, it just feels like a chore. It feels annoying. You know, I want to kill monsters. I don't want to think too much about it. I do want to concentrate and get my technique down and perfect it, but not at the expense of enjoying the game. So that's something that I don't...
What a big boy.
Oh,
Like
that's something I just do not care.
It's a hybrid, my dear Avril.
To defeat this abomination, you'll need to use both your physical and mental skills.
Okay, that one's on me. As you can tell here, depending on what you fight, combat with each mob is dependent on two different states. With your sun and moon state. I don't know what it's called. I didn't pay attention to it. And honestly, I don't fucking care. Because there's nothing in this story that makes me give a damn. I mean, I know that the world is in danger and you're a hero who has to save it. But unfortunately, when it comes to the story of the characters themselves and the story of the world, there's just nothing there for me to care. Damn it, come on. What am I doing wrong? Okay.
Okay, now we should be able to gather these crystals easily.
Looks like one of them managed to flee with some of them during the brawl.
Wait, I think I already saw that little guy at the village. Maybe it's just me, but it felt like he didn't want to fight. Whatever, let's finish this work and go back to the...
Hey, Ave. Once I'm out of here, you'll let me try your sword, right?
You wish. So my weapons can be upgraded with runes, huh? That sounds pretty cool.
Yes, they contain memories from powerful warriors who left their legacy even after death.
Game itself.
They are amplifiers for the amulets we gave you.
That's why it feels natural to fight, even if I never did it before.
Yes, and some of your latent powers are still dormant.
So, onto the game's dialogue. The game's dialogue is a mixed bag. Some of it is good, some of it is terrible, And I'm not quite sure why, and the reason why I say that is because some of the lines are actually voiced. The delivery feels deadpan. It feels like the developer didn't know how to direct them, what to say properly. There wasn't enough emotion for each line in the story, and I just didn't have any interest whatsoever. And speaking of the story of the game itself, it is available. It can be expanded upon. You can learn more about the world through the codex. There's nothing much here about it, really. There's some very basic information about the world, about the locations, about maybe giving you some semblance or reason as to why you are there and why you need to save the world. I don't care. I honestly don't care. There's nothing here that inspires me, that pops out. It feels very generic, honestly. I mean, there's obviously a very tribal fantasy aspect to it, but it's because I think that what they're doing with the game is slowly dragging out the lore, the storytelling. The problem is that it feels too thin. There's nothing to just mull over. It's not exactly dense. You know, everything is you're just given a breadcrumb, you're being given a breadcrumb trail of lore, and you have to follow that trail. And honestly, I don't care. I don't care for following this trail. I'm not yes, I want to solve a mystery. This game makes it very obvious that there is a mystery, and that, of course, you know, your patron deities, Sun and Moon, are... I'm just gonna call them Sun and Moon, because I don't care. Are... shady? They're kind of like... They're very much sort of twirling mustache villains, but not in a fun sort of way. This game is very much more tell than show. It doesn't... The atmosphere isn't as mysterious as it would like to present itself. It doesn't feel mystical. And I really think the problem is just the way the models and the graphics are presented. It doesn't match the music. It's a cartoon, but it's not really a good kind of cartoon. It's a shitty cartoon. Not only that, but there's only one shop. Everything here is just for... Everything here, all the set pieces, even though you can overhear the dialogue from the NPCs, which add a little flavor and context to the world, everything here is just... It's just a window dressing. That's all it is. I don't feel like a warrior. I don't feel like the chosen one. I don't feel like a savior or an adventurer. I'm just some person who's just wandering around flinging a sword. And honestly, I don't care. This game might be good for kids, because this probably is a kid's game. And now that I think about it, this is more than likely a kid's game, but it's not a very good kid's game. It's just... This game is not fun. I am not enjoying myself. It's available at around $35. I mean, there's some stuff here. There's some interesting stuff here that I want to interact with. But aside from having a story role, you know, it's nice to look at. But, you know, this pool of purple liquid. I want to do more stuff with this pool. I want to dip my hands in it. I want to enhance my powers. No, like, you get your powers, that's it, and Bob's your uncle. You can just go now. You don't need to come back here. And, you know, fighting monsters isn't as satisfying enough to make that a valid reason to just ignore it and leave it. All in all, I would say that this game is not fun for me. I'm not enjoying this game. It has all the right parts. It has nice melodic music that is kind of suits the mood to the story. The gameplay is, well, it's not terribly exciting. It's fairly arcadey, but the way that combos have to be chained make it a chore. The dialogue is... some of the dialogue is deadpan, and the story feels like it just drags on instead of adding more context or more flavor. It's not fun. This game isn't fun. It has all the right pieces and they all fit together. But the problem is they all fit too nicely. It's bland. It's like bread. It's just like plain bread, and honestly, I don't like this game. I don't think it's worth picking up. I'm sorry to say this, but yeah, no. Batora is not a fun game. I mean, the gimmick of combat, of fighting monsters and having to just change, needing to transform yourself in order to be effective is nice, but it feels a little asinine because you're being forced in, instead of being allowed to play a role, you're being forced to perform a role. You're not really playing the game, you're playing out a story and going through the motions. It's just not exciting for me. It's boring. I'm not enjoying myself. So yeah, Batora Lost Haven. Batora Lost Haven is a game I just don't care about. Is it worth playing? Not for me. Not for the price of $34, $35. I think this game is more like maybe a $20 or a $15 game with what's added. There's just nothing here for me to latch on to, and that's unfortunate. So yeah, all in all, Batora is just not a fun game. It is not a game that I enjoy. And honestly, this is not a game that I would recommend at all. And yeah, that's about it really. So yeah, if you disagree with me on my first impressions of this game, please tell me in the comments below. If you like this video, press the like button. If you don't, press the dislike button, though that's been disabled on YouTube. And if you want to see more videos, please be sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching. I will see you again next time. Bye!